Welcome to Fiery Femmes, the podcast where high achieving women build wealth, redesign their careers, and create lives with real freedom. I'm Sheena, an accredited investor, former tech sales professional, and the founder of Fiery Femmes. After a decade across global SaaS, startups, and my own reinventions, I realized the most powerful thing a woman can have is optionality. So, in every episode, we explore the future of work, the psychology of wealth, and the practical strategies that help women build careers and lives that evolve as fast as they do.
I stopped. Okay. So AI existed.
Yeah, 10 to 15 to 20 years ago when I started in the technology space, it was physical boxes that we were selling. And the idea of AI existed, but not with that heading, not in the framework, and not doing what it does today. And now I'm in a role where AI is the number one thing that I'm talking about and building solutions around and creating value with. So I think, you kind of got to get started somewhere in the footprint of the vertical or the area or the industry that you want to start with from a sales perspective, but be very open to that adjusting and consider what are the parallels or what's kind of related to that, and maybe take some stepping stones, sideways if you can, to get a little bit more exposure.
Beautiful. And I got to learn this term very recently, like the TMT team. Have you heard of that before?
Teach me. TMT. I mean, do I guess? No, tell me.
So there's this creator on social media. He's so funny, but basically it's like an investment banker or like private equity, and they always say that like they're from Morgan Stanley, from the TMT team, which stands for Technology, Media, and Telecommunications. And when I did my research on that, basically it's their favorite realm to invest in because it has the most amount of opportunities. It changes all the time, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
And I guess just like with what you're currently saying is that it changes so much, but it sounds like you see that there are so many opportunities even during those changes.
Well, I think, I look at a lot of the conversations around AI with some audiences is very much, losing jobs where, these resources and roles aren't going to exist. Yeah, but think about the new roles and the new opportunities that exist. 20, 30 years ago, what was Uber? Why would we need it and who would do it? Well, here we are now where, that organization went through a boom, and who doesn't have the Uber app on their mobile now, not just for transport, but for food delivery. So great the segue back to some of the things to talk about earlier. It's that, yes, and it's more, it can become a multiplier, and it gives, different people opportunities in new areas. So, yeah, change can be hard. I have gone through periods of being very reluctant about it and disheartened by it. But I think, as I look back retrospectively, I can definitely say those changes have actually created more opportunities, better advancements, and more exciting things that have happened than they have in a negative area. Yeah, got to be yes. And what else? Bring on more. How do we move on from here?
Yes, absolutely. And you can actually see the amount of opportunities changing, the amount of opportunities present. I don't think the world realizes how much capital is out there as well, because there are so many jobs, but we need to create the jobs for the future, the skill and the jobs for the future. So, yeah, 100%. I think people need to know how and when to upskill, like just learn all the time.
Yes. Yeah. And be kind of always thinking about those softer skills, right? It doesn't always need to be very specific or nuanced or technical. Obviously, in a general sales capacity, that's going to be relevant. There are obviously technology and engineering based roles or product based roles where, yes, a technical skill set or a specific skill set is going to be key, but always more of that general kind of sales, business innovation, business leadership be thinking about what are soft skills that I can continue to develop and learn from. Where do I have some weaknesses? Where do I have some blind spots? Who is around me that I can learn from or does something that I think is good? And, where you can, one of my approaches is start by mimicking and copying.
Mhm.
And then it will start to become a little bit more of a habit. And I'm watching someone in a meeting and I'm thinking, wow, how are they controlling it and directing it? What are they doing? Okay, this is how they're talking. This is how they're sounding. These are the words that they're using. That's the way that they're engaging with everybody else or including others. I want to start to be able to copy and replicate that and then let it become my own.
I see. So you're saying that copying and mimicking is definitely from someone you admire.
Yes, I think, there's so much you need to observe because it can take a little while before you realize is it a good thing that you want to be able to do and that you like, or is it not necessarily the approach that you want to take? Because you can admire someone with their ability to lead and manage people and take control and set authority, but it may not match your personal style or personal ethics or how you might like to interrelate and engage with people. Yeah, spending a lot of time observing people. I mean, particularly in my role in meetings a lot of the time, hour after hour, meeting after meeting, back to back. So many personalities, so many roles, so diverse. Just observing. What am I liking? What am I not liking? What's bringing out the best of me? What's bringing out the best of my colleague or of my partner or of a customer or of someone else within the business? What am I liking? Is that something that I want to be able to do? Can I do it? And do I want to be doing it in the same way as that person? It's a little bit how I look
Very,
at things.
very good awareness. And that's a really good framework. Is that something that you do pretty often?
I would be saying I'm doing it every day. I'm doing it in every meeting that I'm in. Obviously, it's a subtle art. It's a refined art. It takes time to pick up on what it is that you want to do, right? And deciding if that's something that you want to mimic for you, want to be able to do for yourself. So I look at different leaders, I look at people that I admire from across different industries, across different businesses, try to work out what are physiological things that they do. What's their way of thinking? How do they make decisions? And is that something that I want to try or I want to learn how to do?
That's so good. Definitely something that I will copy and mimic in future meetings. Um, because I think like that part is it's like intuitive, not something that I actively think about. So it would be good to test how I observe differently in the next few weeks.
Yeah, I think one of the things that maybe I picked it up from is when I think about wanting to be involved in work activities and wanting to feel like an active, valued participant is when you're under different managers, how do they allow you to collaborate and be involved? Is it something that they instinctively do? Are they aware, hey, I can see this person keeps wanting to speak up or is maybe too shy or, they're jotting down a lot of notes, but they haven't spoken up? Are they kind of looking for those subtle cues? Are they picking up on it? And how are they then inviting me into the conversation? I like to kind of look at, is that something that I would do if I was in a similar position where I see someone that isn't able to speak up? How do I invite them in? So I looked at how managers were including me and how I felt and resonated most positively with that. And then what you learn over time when you're in a leadership or a management role and you go to include people, and I would do it very abruptly, not aggressively, but very open, highly encouragingly, enthusiastically. I then realized actually that doesn't resonate back with everybody else. Some
Yeah.
people are more of the quieter contributors. Some people, for various reasons, may not want to engage in the same way that I engage. So that's why it becomes important to look, observe, see what you like, what works with you in your role and how you want to operate. Start to mimic it, do some of the things that you do like, but then keep that observation on, well, is that still going to work for everybody else that I'm around?
Very insightful. Is that something that we talked earlier about upskilling and especially like on the soft skills, not just like on technical skills? What is the last thing that you upskilled on or like a course that you did or a new like learning?
A new learning for me is, and it's ongoing because I don't have it yet, is, we see problems in how different things work. And, when something's not working, you want it to be better. You go and tell a manager or a leader or someone with authority, hey, this isn't working. We need to do better. Most managers don't want you just coming forward with the problem statement. They probably already know it. 10 people have already spoken to them about it that day. That can become something that they easily dismiss or ignore or put aside. What I'm learning to still improve on and refine is don't just raise the alarm bells because something seems to be a problem. Use that mental capacity, use your knowledge, use your skill sets to help think about the potential solutions and come forward with, here is something that I think we could be doing differently or better or stop doing or start doing. And this is how I would propose we do it. That
Wow.
then opens up more of a conversation. That then becomes something that can be worked on. There's a tangible structure to it, not just a great big headline. Everyone can come up with that headline. It's that next layer of thinking as to, well, how do you fix it? How do you resolve it? How do you improve it? And then what's the basis for it and how do you present that to managers? And really, I'm still working on it. Hopefully, I am still working on that skill set for a long time because I don't think that's necessarily something that you kind of know how to do and you always know how to do it. It should be something that continues to improve. But if you have a problem, think of the solutions, understand how to propose the solutions, and that's when you're ready to get someone to listen because that's when they'll care.
Yeah, absolutely. That's so good because I can just imagine how if you present a problem and that manager has had that problem like 10 times that day, it comes
Yeah.
across as a complaint.
Yes. Comes across as a complaint, comes across as it's non-urgent. It's a priority for you in that moment, but it doesn't mean it's a priority for anybody else. You haven't been able to monetize it, you haven't been able to define the consequences. You've just called out something because it's become an irritant for you, which is fine. And, from time to time, you have good managers where in one on ones, you can just say, look, I've got some grievances. These kind of things are bugging me. I've got some pet peeves and just air it out in a one on one format. That's sometimes a good space to do it if you've got that type of relationship with your manager. When you've got something that's bugging you to the point of, I want it to change, don't always expect that change or those ideas to come from someone else. You should be ready, if it's that much of a problem, you should be ready to come with some of the solutions and the ideas for it.
That's really good to hear. And Ashley, I know you've managed some people as well. How often does it actually happen where they would come to you with this problem? This is the headline. And then they have come to you with like almost like a business proposal where like, this is my problem. This is how I've been affected. And these are my proposed solutions. Like, how often does that happen?
I have been lucky to work with some people in my team where I don't even think they realize they've actually solved it and can go then do what their solution, what their proposal is. And it's just that is in some people's capability. It's in their soft skill set that they're really thinking kind of from that end point backwards, or it's been a significant enough pain point for them that they've taken the time to assess it. But majority of my instances, I would definitely say I have worked with individuals that have taken the time to sit down and say, here is how I think we need to be doing something differently. And there is nothing that will happen faster than a manager being able to say, great, then do it. Right? Because you come with the problem, you've come with the solution, and now you've got the permission to change.
Yeah.
So yeah, very lucky to have been surrounded by some of those individuals. And it may be because I know one of my weaknesses is my ability to kind of set off the fire alarm before it needs to be run. And
Oh,
maybe because I'm the opposite to it, I have surrounded myself or been lucky enough to have in my team people that are a little bit counter to that. And that's why there is, I've very much had excellent collaboration with peers and employees and managers that I've had. I know my weakness is ready to sound the alarm, doesn't need to be sound, work with other people that have a little bit more of a capacity to kind of take the beat or tell me to take the beat. And I know I'm open to hearing that. How do you fix it then? How do you fix it?
yeah, that's true. Good awareness of what you have as almost like as a natural skill set that comes to you and like what's not really happening, but you need to surround yourself with people who's more on that development area.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah. And I think it's a good sign of a leader if they give their team the autonomy and the comfort and the confidence that, well, yes, you can come to me with ideas, and that's something that I'll give valid consideration to. I think
Yeah,
the managers or the leaders themselves have to be open to the warmth and, open and warm to people bringing in ideas and encouraging it.
yeah. I'm very lucky to have had a manager who's like that as well. Who's basically like, I'll get out of your way, let me know what you need and what ideas you have. But yeah, very good. Actually, just changing gears a little bit, I do want to get some of your tips, especially for those who are in the same boat and they're thinking of that like career progression as quickly as you can. What would you say are maybe your top tips into get ahead and have that career progression as quickly as they can to make sure that if they do take a step back from career, something like that, to travel, to have a family, that when they come back to their career, they're all good.
Yes. I think it is asking a lot of questions and being curious and also being comfortable and okay with telling people that you want to move your career, that you want to advance, that you want to learn. I remember in one of my very first interviews with a company being early in my career being asked, well, the typical interview question, which I think is now removed from every HR list, but where do you see yourself in the next 5 years' time? Because if anyone can answer that, I mean, my goodness, no one can predict the future at the moment. But I was asked it and I directly said back to the country leader, probably in your seat.
What did they say?
Great. Let me show you the way to make that happen. And I think that kind of, I said it because I was a little bit ballsy. I also said it, I think, because I didn't have an answer prepared. It's a really hard question where do you see it? I don't know. I might be in a completely different vertical. I might have changed industries and decided I want to study law. So, I said it and I think I realized if you can put the right amount of yourself out there to express to leaders within your business and your organization, hey, I'm eager, I'm confident, but that doesn't mean I'm necessarily competent. Can you help me understand what I might need to achieve? And
Mm,
that's a really hard balance between having the confidence and just thinking by the course of nature of time, you will just automatically progress. But I think showing an interest, being genuinely curious and saying, I kind of want to move on. These are the types of roles that I think I would want to be moving into. Is that where you would see me being? What am I not doing, or what skill don't I have that I might need to start to learn in the next 12 months to get to that next point or to look at that potential promotion? So I think it's a combination of having a little bit of confidence and conviction. I want to move fast. I want to be somewhere. I don't necessarily know where it'll be, but I want to get myself into a really secure employment position, confident with the experience and the tenure that I've had within organizations, get the right amount of experience and exposure, but also be curious to ask, what do I need to do? What are my blind spots? What are my gaps? What am I not doing? Asking your leaders, who should I be learning from? So definitely kind of being curious, being confident, and having the conversations. That's 3 C's.
Yeah, I love it. The
Curious,
three
confident.
C's.
Yeah.
I
I
love
love
your
things in acronyms. It rolls off your tongue. Everybody, it'll be catchphrase in no time. Hashtag the 3 C's.
That's it. It's going to be in the hashtag now. You've been in technology and communication space for a good time. What advice would you give to 20-year-olds today?
To 20-year-olds today, good luck, brace yourself, be in for a ride. I would say, the thing you kind of got to keep in mind, everybody, whether you're 20-year-old and starting out, 30-year-old and starting out, 40-year-old and changing direction, you got to be adaptable. You've kind of got to be, as we were talking a little bit about before, like be ready and comfortable with change. Kind of allow yourself to go a little bit with the flow. And I think part of that comes down to um, allowing yourself to experience and be exposed to different areas within an organization, because you don't know what you're learning today, how that will give you something that will be a skill set for another role in 10 years' time that doesn't even exist today. So I think a lot of it is, be ready to adapt, be ready for change, try and be as comfortable with it as you can, and enjoy the ride. Just try and say yes and
Not yes, but.
not but, not a no, not on those terms, not on those conditions. Obviously, don't lose your personal conviction, don't lose your personal integrity, but yes and keep learning, keep an open mind. Know that you won't have everything sorted out when you think you will, but be ready to plan and be ready to say, let's try something different.
Yeah, perfect. And
Yeah.
what would you say, or what's one thing that you wish society would stop telling young women in tech?
Yeah. I don't think there's anything we should stop telling women in tech. I think we should be telling women in tech everything and as much as we can, and constantly sharing experience and letting women take from it what they need to. And that's where, if I may give you a little plug, is
Yeah.
why I find the content of these podcasts so interesting. Let me hear some stuff. Give me some knowledge. Help me become empowered with knowing a little bit more than I did before. That's going to help me with my financial freedom, with my career progression, with understanding how I plan, help me kind of work out where I want to be, build my career. That's why I think we need to keep talking. We need to give these forums. We need to share the knowledge, share the experience, share that, hey, this did not work out for me and I made a bad decision. Maybe someone else will learn from it. Maybe someone will be at the point where, in one of your podcasts, it's like this isn't the job for me. This isn't what I thought it was going to be, and it's not how I want to be working. It's just not the environment. Give someone the confidence to say, well, actually, you don't need to stick it out. You can say no. You can make sure that you're ready to move on to something else. So, to your brilliant, genuinely stumped me question about what do we need to stop saying, I'm going to flip it on its head, and I am going to give you a no but answer. I think we need to keep talking. I think we need to keep having these forums, information sharing, knowledge exchange. That's what will continue to empower women to get into these roles, to know that they have a place, and to be wildly successful and happy in doing so.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, Ashley.
Thank you for listening to another episode of Fiery Femmes. If this resonated, share it with a woman in your life, because we rise higher when we rise together. Don't forget to follow and review. It helps more women access the tools and conversations that build wealth and confidence. For more career and financial empowerment, come hang out on Instagram and YouTube at Fiery Femmes. I'll see you in the next episode.